and welcome to Simplifying Network Automation with NetGru, live streaming from Cisco Live Amsterdam 2024. We're excited about this. It's actually the first time we're trying this format. If you folks have followed along our sessions before, we usually have them, Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Pacific. But this time we decided to kind of bring it on the road. I blame Jeremy here for kind of. I asked. I was not expecting people to be that quick, but we're live, and we're gonna talk with Jeremy and Story today a bit about the event, what they're doing here, and a bunch of new things that we have coming up for iOS XE. So first of all, Story, Jeremy, how's the event for you so far? What you guys have been up to? I've seen you had lightning sessions today, both of you. How did that go?
Yeah, I'll start it off. So I'm Story. Today we had a lightning talk about Terraform. And so we were talking about how to use Terraform with Cisco iOS XE. And also Jeremy had a few sessions today, so I'll get over to you.
Yep, I had a session at the Cisco Youth Theater, actually on model-driven telemetry made simple. And I also just had a lightning talk on talking about some of the automation that we use in the lab. So not actually talking about the iOS XE portfolio, but how we use a suite of automation in the lab.
Cool. Story, is that the Terraform that we've done the live stream on?
Yeah,
the VPN
similar.
Tunnel with Catalyst and AWS was something?
This was similar. So we are also using Terraform, but in this case, we actually were working with model-driven telemetry. Okay. So how do you turn on different subscriptions? And that was the use case for this demo, this session this morning.
All right, so turning on model-driven telemetry, you have a receiver somewhere.
Yep, exactly.
You get all the metrics and you have a dashboard, I would imagine, or something.
Yep, we were showing this all in Grafana. Whenever the telemetry subscriptions came up, then we were able to see that live from the Grafana dashboards.
Okay, do you guys know if these sessions have been recorded? Actually, the lightning talks are not recorded. So, folks, if you want to see them, you have to be here.
I thought the lightning talks were recorded or published live on YouTube, or the slides are not published, but the live recording should be available.
All right, so you guys check out CiscoLive.com. If they're there, they're there. If not, I mean, we might do another, live stream, but when we go back home. Cool. So the event, good so far. What else have you coming up in the next days? Because I know you folks are busy, lots of stuff. So what else do you have at Cisco Live here? Story?
Sure. Yeah, I'll start us off. So I have a few more sessions coming up, a few lightning talks talking about other toolings that we have. So really diving deep into Yang Suite tooling, as well as going into a comparison of the different tools that we have for iOS XE. So we'll be doing tomorrow a comparison of Ansible, Terraform, and Yang Suite and the capabilities of each. So we'll be talking about different toolings, different use cases tomorrow and throughout the rest of the week as well. Now I'll pass it to you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Yeah, so my week's all equally busy. Sessions every day, 2 sessions today, 2 tomorrow, 1 Wednesday, 1 Thursday. So a variety of topics in the programmability and automation portfolio, but I think what's new is going to be the Catalyst 9000 virtual switch. So there's a short 45-minute DevNet session on Wednesday, and then a 90-minute breakout in the ops or the automation track, where we go deep. We spend 90 minutes talking about all the capabilities and the features, and then some use cases and running and where we can use the virtual switch. So that's kind of the main or the big session that I'm tracking. But of course, there's things in the mornings. We have sessions and breakouts throughout the day, and then dinners and events in the evenings. So for us, it's
meet the engineer, right? You have in less than 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to run off to the meet the engineer. Meet the engineer is a one-on-one meeting. So customers or internal accounts can book time with any experts, and so I have no idea what I'm walking into, but it should be fun.
Yeah, usually there's a description, right? But the discussion usually with customers and partners can go any way, so you kind of have to be ready. So yeah, folks, right? Bunch of things happening here. Classroom sessions, workshops, lightning talks. We have a whole booth here, a whole area actually for Red Hat, Ansible. You can't really see because it's off camera. I'm looking at them right here. Fully booked all day today. We just got started actually. This is the first day of the event. Meet the engineer, right? Then there's also meet the author. If you folks want to meet authors from books, we have the Cisco store is going to be on Wednesday. If you want to meet me over there, you can get a signed copy of the Dev Associate book if you want. lots of things. And most importantly, you get a chance to talk with people like Jeremy and Story right in person. And what we also do, we take your feedback very seriously. We bring it back to the BU. We improve the products based on what you tell us here. So from my perspective, the best place to be to talk with us, to talk with experts, to learn pretty much all week is here. And we have actually more stuff happening on IOSXC. We've been working a lot on on sandboxes. For example, we used to have, I don't know if you folks know, we have sandboxes on developer.cisco.com, but specifically for iOSXC, we had a bunch of sandboxes. There was 6 sandboxes at some point with different versions of code. It's the latest version, which was like 5 years old. Then we had reservable sandboxes. We had model-driven telemetry sandboxes, reservable and always on. So it was a bit of different options with different versions of iOSXC running in them. We worked to consolidate all of them, bring them all together. So we have 2 from 6. We've got them down to 2. 1 reservable, 1 always on. So I'm going to let Story and Jeremy tell you more about those, because I mean there's a lot to talk. There's Yank Suite in there, there's Terraform, there's NetConf, ResConf, lots. But I know Terraform. Story is kind of like our expert on Terraform. She's been working on a learning lab on Terraform that's coming up and is going to get published soon. But you want to talk us about the sandbox Terraform and what you have in there for us?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about Terraform Sandbox. So if you want to get hands-on with actually using the new declarative Terraform provider, you can go ahead and check it out over in our sandboxes. So this goes over some similar things like I was describing with the lightning talk. So you can actually go in and work with the config and actually manage the device config using Terraform. So now you'll have the hands-on option to do that as well.
Cool. So then model-driven telemetry with Grafana, right?
So we have 2 sandboxes. The always-on doesn't have the full integration of all the features and the use cases as the reservable. Right, so the reservable sandbox has the Terraform integration built in and the telemetry built-in integration and ZTP, whereas the always-on is, well, it's always on, so we can access the core APIs, the NetConf, ResConf, those types of API microservices on there. So for the telemetry one, yeah, as soon as you reserve that, the devices are provisioned, they're turned on, and they're pushing telemetry right out of the iOSXE device, and that telemetry is pushed to the collector, the dev box that we have in the sandbox. It's also turned on at the same time. So when you reserve the environment, as soon as you log in, you can access the Grafana UI, you can visualize the telemetry, or you can log directly to the switch and mess around with the configuration and understand what's happening. So yeah, a full set of capabilities that we've added into there now. So it's really nice to see it come down and then also the capabilities come up.
It's really cool. And talking about ZTP, right? The old sandboxes used to have a ZTP setup. Now we have 2 Cat9 KVs, right, that you can work with and build your ZTP automation in that sandbox, right? You can build your scripts.
Yep. Yeah, it's a Catalyst, it's the 8000.
Oh, 8000,
virtual.
sorry.
Yep. And yeah, like you said, we have 2 of them in there now, so we can have a dynamic ZTP script that will look at the serial numbers or the MAC addresses and then build the configuration dynamically, which is a lot more real-world use case rather than just having one switch that does a very static configuration. So we're actually sharing this internally with teams that are doing R&D and building like customer projects. They're doing that in the DevNet sandbox before they actually share that code sample with customer. So we're already finding value in this thing internally.
Perfect. And then there's also, let's not forget, NetConf, YAML models, and ResConf enabled out of the box, so you can kick the tires.
Yank Suite.
And Yank Suite.
Yank Suite primarily. Right? So we also pack Yank Suite into this environment. So as soon as it turns on, just like telemetry, just like everything else, you can access the Yank Suite. You can send NetConf payloads. You can work with the REST, the Swagger API. You can work with telemetry. It's all built in and ready to go. So having Yank Suite in there just removes that barrier, right? It allows us to load the data models right away. We don't need to download them, configure the tool, or mess around with any devices. We just log in and start working with
it's all
API.
there.
Exactly.
All the tooling, everything that we told you about, it's all there. So really cool. I'm really excited to see folks starting to use this. We're going to monitor to see how many reservations we have, how many hits on the always-on sandbox, as usual, and any feedback, let us know. So that's the sandbox. Then we also have a new dev center, what we call, and the dev center, for folks that don't know, is basically a main central site of developer.cisco.com, where we have links towards all resources pertaining to a certain technology. So in this case, everything iOS XE related, including links to the sandboxes that we were just talking about, they're in there. But there's much more. Links to learning labs, right? Links to code exchange submissions, links to documentation that we're going to work on actually making it better. They're all there. So, folks, you want to share the link with them?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts that have gone into the Dev Center
Yeah.
over the past kind of 6 months that we've gone and refreshed. So it's developer.cisco.com/iOSXE.
Straightforward,
We've been nicknaming
simple.
this my website or stories webpage, like we're the 90s call. We have our personal websites. So it's kind of how we're looking at this, where everything that we work on, everything that we need to know, all the hot links, all the code samples, sandboxes, the FAQs. I think there's a couple other things I'm missing, but there's major collateral pieces that we put on there that are all now available. I think there's one other thing that we're still haven't quite finished, which is the learning labs. Right, so all the learning labs that go with the sandboxes, we're doing our audit and our work there to make sure that all of those match the new sandbox environments. So we'll see that over the next couple weeks or months.
So yeah, that's a bit of a work in progress still, but it's coming up. And then what else we had there? Oh yeah, so the carousel with links, right? Because I know Jeremy and Story, you had requests from folks at events like this to have one point for people that they can go to where they can find links to everything. Start now, right? Day 0, day 1, day 2, day end, use cases, videos, recording from sessions at Cisco Live, code exchange submissions, sandbox links, everything you can find in developer.cisco.com/iOSXE. That's why Jeremy was saying that's kind of and Stories homepage. Now they finally have a homepage where if anyone asks, hey, I want to anything iOS XE, you point them to that link. There's going to be links from there to everything else that folks can find. All right. So what else did we have for people? I think that's
it.
That's pretty much right. What we have new on the iOS XE side. Look out for learning labs getting updated, like Jeremy was saying, and then the docs. That's discussion that's still ongoing. We'll see programmability guides, how they fit into developer.cisco.com. If we have just links, that's we'll figure that out. But
maybe we should ask for feedback here. So let me explain a little bit more. Is that we have a programmability configuration guide for each iOS XE release that's published, and we also have a docs website on DevNet.
Yeah.
So we're trying to understand how you use that, how customers use the docs site versus how they use the programmability configuration guide. Trying to understand if we should maintain the docs site, and if we should put more technical, more geeky, more nerdy, more kind of hands-on stuff on that one, and then leave the official supported configuration guide on Cisco.com. But we'll see what happens over the next couple of weeks as we decide the engagement model for the docs and the documentation support.
Yeah, and you folks watching this and the recording, let us know, right? If you would like us the docs. The thing is, it's been a bit outdated. That's the thing, and we want to spruce it up, bring it up to date. And it's basically you start with getting started, enable RESTconf, NetConf, that type of thing, and then app hosting with guest shell. There's a section in there. There's model-driven telemetry, a section, but they need a bit of updating. So let us know if you think that those use cases that we have there are good and are useful for you, and then we can update them, or we can just point you to a programmability guide, and you can find Abby there also. That's kind of like your classic PDF style Cisco.com documentation that you have hundreds of pages. You go through them and you just read through the whole thing.
It's over 300 pages right now. I know this because I've read most of those pages, but some of it's very dry and some of it's very technical, and consuming that or breaking that down into a more consumable format, I think, is where the docs site could be fitting into this.
On DevNet.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so I think that's it. If you folks are here, right, let it drop by, say hi. I'm in DevNet Zone pretty much all week. Jeremy and Story, they're around here. They have a bunch of sessions every day.
You'll find us in the hallways. You can go
Find
in
us in the
between different places.
hallways. More than happy to say hi, get your feedback, and I think that's it. Jeremy, Story, thank you so much. Good luck for the rest of the week. And
Thanks for having us. I'm glad we could do this interview.
I'm glad we did this. Thanks, Jeremy, for suggesting it, pushing for this. And if it picks up, we'll have this again in Vegas, hopefully, and we'll take our live stream on the road. We were kind of keeping it in-house, right? Kind of working at our house and desks, but we can get it on the road and keep this format going. So thank you so much for coming over, and looking forward to see you on the next one.
Likewise, thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Yes, thank you.
Cool. So now, next, we'll bring in Oren Brigg, Product Management API at Meraki.
Hey,
Oren,
good to see you.
Good to see you too.
First of all, I'm not sure how did it work out that I need to follow the act of Jeremy and Story. Like that's going to be a hard act to follow. Thank you very much for that.
No, I'm sure you'll do a great job. Glad to have you back, Oren. So for folks watching our playlist, we've had a session with Oren talking about Ansible, the collection for Meraki. That's been coming out last year. Last year was...
Yeah, it was about 6 months ago.
6 months ago now. And how do you see the uptake in people using it, and what's the feedback from the community? How's that going?
So first of all, I think it was accepted very well because there was an open source Ansible out there. Mm-hmm. We provided more coverage for newer API endpoints that weren't available when that was created. I think a lot of customers appreciate the fact that now they have official support. Despite of, and luckily, I want to say, considering the number of customers using the Ansible collection, we got a very minimal number of support cases. Some of them are just needing some help and advice which model to use to get some information, and just a couple, some tiny minor thing that we could fix quite fast. So I'm very happy with the uptake. I'm very happy with seeing more and more customers using it, and getting feedback on what can you do better, what's the next thing. So that's very helpful.
That's really nice. So it was pretty much a successful launch then, since there's a large adoption and very few issues that have been reported. So that's always nice.
It is, and we are talking about Ansible quite a few here at Cisco Live. Tomorrow, me and Francois Cohen, we have a DevNet workshop where we'll use Ansible to configure a hybrid network environment where we'll have some Catalyst switches, Meraki access points, and Cisco ICE as a NAC, and we'll be automating the entire process using Ansible across several different products. And then on Wednesday, I have a session together with Massimo Ferrari from Red Hat, talking about the collection, talking about Ansible automation platform, and some of the things, and of course a demo, because no DevNet session could be done.
You have to have demos.
Yeah.
Folks know.
We'll be talking about Ansible automation platform and some of the use cases that we had there, and again some of the more advanced capability we have to offer. And on Thursday, a Cisco use session about vanilla ICE. So again, DevNet and programmability applied to ICE to simplify the life of the users using it.
Nice. So you have a very busy week too.
I have.
How was today, by the way?
Today was great. Today was surprising. Today was the one day I was not presenting any session.
Same for me.
But I really enjoy just being around here, meeting so many customers, so many partners, and getting that feedback. I think one of the things I really love about Cisco Live, it's really the opportunity to meet people in person, get that feedback. What are we doing good? Where can we get better?
Yeah.
What we would like to see? We have in front of us. We have here a design workshop where people can come in, talk about any API, give us feedback about any API they'd like, whether it's Meraki, whether it's a Catalyst Center, SD-WAN, UCS, Intersite, and so on, and just talk about what is working them, what they'd wish they have.
Yeah.
And this is feedback collected by the DevNet team and then provided for the business units.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't presented today, but that doesn't mean that I'm not working. I've done the shared experience both duty today pretty much all day. So I've been talking with several customers and partners on, Meraki, iOS XE, it came Catalyst Center. we've talked about with a couple of people more than an hour, right? So it's very in-depth feedback with, I want this specific API endpoint on Meraki, right? On the Meraki dashboard API, I want it to return this type of data. You tell me it's a string, right? But it's not enough for me. I want it to tell me. So we're taking that feedback, actually bringing it to Oren, to the BU, to the engineering folks, to actually make our APIs and our documentation and all the resources we have on DevNet better. Because at the end of the day, we want you, people using this, to have, as few issues as possible and to have all the resources as useful as possible for you.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning as a product manager, and I don't think I introduced you to that, but for anyone that did not watch any of the previous session, my name is Oren Brigg. I'm a product manager for Meraki's API and ecosystem. As a product manager, we live and die by the feedback, or we can go within our head about what we think is good and what we think our customers would appreciate. But at the end of the day, it's your feedback that drive our decisions. So we want to know what can we do, how can we make your life easier, and what can we do better. So at least on our side, on the Meraki side, in dashboard, you have this provide feedback button, and so we read it.
Yeah.
If you write something there, we'll be reading it. I'm not promising we'll be delivering on every single wish we get there, but we'll be reading it, we will be taking it under consideration. And one of the things I tell people is sometimes I can't fix a problem I don't know it exists.
Yeah.
I can provide a new feature that people want if I don't get that input of people actually wanting this feature. And of course, understanding why people are asking for something, that's very important, because maybe we can provide a different way where we're just really understanding the why is super important for us to understand what can we do to address that, and not necessarily. And sometimes the answer is not yet another API endpoint.
Right.
Sometimes it's something different.
Right. Perfect. So yeah, we're in Ansible sessions here. Great. What else do we have coming up? Share experience we talked about.
Yeah, I think I heard you talking about the sandbox as environment.
Yes.
We have learning labs that we have. So just like the Catalyst, we have that for Meraki as well. Session that we have here at Cisco Live. Again, we have the workshops. We have the theater sessions. These would be, if you're not here at Cisco Live, these would be recorded and become available somewhere a couple of weeks after the event. So
CiscoLive.com.
If you really struggle of choosing between attending my session or Story's session or Jeremy's session, don't worry. You can attend one. You can watch the other online later. All good. I won't be disappointed if you choose her session over mine. It's all good.
Yeah, so the best place is here to offer feedback, right? But at the same time, keep in mind that we also have NPS scoring and NPS feedback that we gather specifically on the Meraki documentation page. And that also is very closely monitored. So with NPS, how it works is a Net Promoter Score, for folks that don't know, is depending on what type of actions you do on the web page, right, on the documentation web page. You do a couple of clicks, we monitor what you do on it, and based on that, a window will pop up on the right lower hand corner on the website, and it's going to ask you for feedback, right? So that's also very important. That's what we call NPS. It's going to give you an option of scoring from 1 to 10, right? And if you see any issues or any problems, you can also, we have a text box that you can fill out, and that comes in a WebEx space for all of us once you submit that feedback, and we watch that, and like Oren was saying, we monitor that, we take action on it, and if we don't know about a problem, then please let us know about it, because we want to fix them and we want to improve our offering to you.
Yeah, I think one of the greatest things, again, in the world of solution, I'm meeting here a lot of our ecosystem partners. We have, at least on our website, we have close to 200 different ecosystem partners. And in the world of solution, I meet existing ecosystem partners just to check with them and get their feedback. Because again, if we can enhance our partners' ability to integrate with us, at the end of the day,
it's going to help everyone.
It's a better user experience for everyone.
Yeah.
And then I meet all kinds of companies which are not yet an ecosystem partner, and we talk, and that's a very easy thing to tell them, hey, once you created the integration, not publishing it on an existing marketplace, that doesn't really make sense. So that's a very, very easy conversation to have. And in addition to that, again, watching all of the conversation here, all of the sessions, so many people, so many interesting people and experts in their field. I always tell that people ask me, hey, as the Ansible expert, I'm not, or considering the people we have around here, I'm no expert. We have actual expert here from Red Hat delivering session and workshops. I consider myself like I'm not comparing myself to them. They're the experts. I'm trying to help meeting my users and meeting my customers where they are. So whether it's if you rather choose Ansible as your tool of choice, sure, you have that. If you rather use Python, we have our Python SDK. You want to use Go, let's do that. You want to do something completely different, that's where our just native REST APIs can work with any programming language. So whatever, I'm all about providing choice and again, meeting customer where they are. So whatever tool of choice you'd like to use, I want to be able to provide that.
Cool. So you mentioned actually now the Catalyst integration into the dashboard, right? I don't know how much you can talk about that, but I know now Catalyst 9000, most of them, you can have them in monitor mode in the dashboard, right? So it's really cool finally starting to see the Meraki dashboard having Catalyst switches, and you can get metrics, right? You can see the actual switch, the ports in the dashboard. You can see which ports are up and down, and you can get traffic in and out on them. Yeah, so it's really cool.
I can talk gently about it just because there is a team in charge of that, and that's not my team. But yes, we have cloud monitoring for Catalyst switches that now we have supported. We have the 9200, 9300, 9500, and all of those can be with a simple applet. They can be integrated into the Meraki dashboard for monitoring purposes. Yep. So you can see the switch just like you can see any Meraki switch in the dashboard, and you can check the status of the ports. You can do some actions, recycle a port, get some information. But again, there's a reason why it's called monitoring.
Yeah.
You can't really manage it yet. Yep. It's in the works. But it makes your life so much easier. And when it comes to API, if you're doing any action or gathering information for monitoring purposes through Meraki, the same API would work for those switches. So if you're collecting all of the information, for example, port statuses for Meraki switches, you can do the same for your Catalyst switches, even if it's brownfield and it's working and you don't need to change it. In addition, some of the things we're working on is really introducing more and more Catalyst hardware being managed by Meraki. So just like today, you can buy a Catalyst access point, the 9100 series, and then you can choose whether you want it in the flavor of the on-prem Catalyst with a Catalyst 98,000 controller. You can choose the Meraki flavor, having it fully managed by dashboard. Now we have the 9300M series, which again, same hardware, same 9300 switches. You can decide whether you want to manage it on-prem with a console SSH CLI, with or without Catalyst Center, or do you want to go down the full cloud managed using Meraki and just manage it just like any Meraki switch. So all of the hardware benefits that we have on the Catalyst for years, whether it's stacking, power stacking, PoE, dual power, everything, it's the same hardware, the same Catalyst switch managed through the Meraki dashboard.
It blew my mind. I mean, this has been announced a while back, but seeing it in action actually recently was really exciting. It really made me excited about the future once you're actually able to fully manage Catalyst alongside your Meraki switches. So that's exciting times coming. All right, Oren. So I think we're right on time. Half an hour for this session, folks. Like I said, it's the first time we're doing this at a Cisco Live. We'll see how it goes. Thank you to Story, she's over there in the back. Jeremy had to go meet the engineer already, so he's talking with customers. Oren, thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you. I'm happy to come.
Happy to always have you. And folks, see you on the next one. We're going to be coming back in a couple of weeks with some new guests, talking about Ansible in the future also. We'll see. the Ansible AAP. They have a platform. We'll talk with some folks at Red Hat about that. So I'm excited about that too. Thanks everyone.